I think people are going to have a much greater appreciation and a sense of what everybody else is going through. I don't think anybody thought much about the guy who's stacking the oranges and the produce in the fruit counter, at the supermarket. I don't think people thought a whole lot about the most incredible people in the world, the nurses. And I think all of a sudden there's this dawning on people that there's no way they could make it without these quiet, silent heroes.
Employees, silent heroes, whether they're medical professionals, delivery drivers, grocery store workers, these men and women face a higher than average risk of contracting COVID-19. Even though states like New York and New Jersey have banned large gatherings, people are still lining up at grocery stores and pharmacies to buy food and other products like sanitizing wipes and paper towels that they can't find elsewhere. As a result, thousands of grocery store workers are reporting extended shifts to keep up with this daily demand. And joining me now is one of those essential employees still working on the front lines, Dan Lobel. He's a scanning clerk at ShopRite in Netcong, New Jersey. Dan, and by the way, that's not your regular job. You do something else there as well. You handle payroll, you handle pricing. Thanks for everything you're doing. But talk to me about what happens in a grocery store, because I see the lineups outside them. What are you doing to keep safe and to keep your customers safe?
We actually have taken very, very good measures to make sure that us and our customers are kept very safe. It was scary for a little bit before a lot of protections were put in place, but every customer and associate are required to wear face coverings when coming in. Only 50 people are allowed in the store at a time. There's signs everywhere and tape and a special line system where there's only one person allowed at the register. I sanitize the belt if I'm at the cash register between each customer. We have done great things to make sure that we feel safe, that everyone feels safe and protected.
You are a little worried that some of your customers don't take it seriously. I mean, you've got lineups outside the store. You're spacing people. You're limiting the number of people inside the store. You got these sanitizing wipes. The carts are sanitized every hour on the hour. But you're still seeing customers not taking this seriously.
Yeah, most are. I think it took a couple days once the executive order in New Jersey came out that in effect that all people had to wear face coverings. So a majority was good, but a very few people were, everyone's frustrated and a little defiant and, became rude. And, it's a little fearful because, I'm right there, in front of people, and if they're coughing and stuff, even if I'm protected, I'm not so much worried about myself. I'm worried about carrying it to somebody else, and not being able to work.
And I totally get the frustration, and I think we should all be cutting people a lot of slack these days because of the frustration, the fear of getting the disease, the difficulty in getting things done, the financial stress. But you actually had a guy cough on money because he was being defiant. Yeah,
that was a rough one. Luckily, that was the only horrible, scary experience I had. And he was nearly close to ending. And he actually, the other day, he was back and he had a homemade face mask on. So I saw him from across the store and I was a little relieved at that. So at least that sunk in.
Did you wave at him or did you give him the finger?
I didn't even wave. I wanted to give him the finger a little bit, but I just kept walking. I had a lot to do.
Dan, here's the interesting thing. I love grocery store workers. I get, all my food from grocery stores. But there are people like you and transit workers and doormen and sanitation workers and janitors and food delivery people who have not generally occupied the space of hero in our society, or for that matter, essential worker. You actually, this is in your blood. You're kind of a caregiver by nature. Your jobs before this were the kind of jobs that took care of people. I believe you were a lifeguard at one point. You're a caregiver for adults. You've got ill relatives. So I think it's a good thing that society is starting to see people like you as frontline workers. You are the people who keep our lives going.
it's a little overwhelming. I've gotten so many thank yous and so many appreciative people, and I've honestly never thought getting a job at a grocery store that I would be labeled an essential worker and get a special letter to carry with me to go back and forth to work at night and stuff. It's very overwhelming. It's a little uplifting as well.
Well, thank you for the work that you're doing, Dan Lobel. Thanks to you, thanks to your coworkers and everybody who's out there putting themselves at risk by staying on the front line so the rest of us can survive. We appreciate that, Dan.
Hey there.